What's going on, guys? So for this session with Seth, I have an awesome person. Many of you guys know him. He's a super good friend of ours and a lot of you guys as well. So Eric Littlejohn, say what's up to everybody.
Hey.
Yeah, Eric is incredibly awkward through this interview process. Does that make you feel better?
A little bit.
Okay, cool. So just to make Eric feel good, I'm gonna pretend I'm Eric's business partner, David. Are you guys ready? Here we go. What's up, man?
Got it.
What's going on?
I feel at home.
Hey, David, this is for you, bro. All right. So, Eric, listen, man, you've been in this business a long time. Ultimately, probably one of the most technical guys in the country, whether you want to admit it or not. I mean, like, what makes you wake up in the morning and go, hey, dude, I can't wait to go do these crazy cool projects like you guys do?
I think that's it, really. It's just the new problems, the unique problems, the hard ones.
Yeah.
The harder, the better. And I mean, that's what gets me up. Like, hey, we've tried this before. 2 or 3 companies have been here before. We just can't figure this out, or we just want a final solution, or we just want to be done with it. So that's what makes I don't get up. I jump out of bed and run for those.
Yeah, it's funny, man. As long as I've known you, you've always said the same thing to me, and you've always said this. Hey, I want the job after 5 other companies have messed it up. You've always said that to me. Yeah. And honestly, like, to me, from a rational business perspective, I'm like, that's crazy. Because I want to be the first one out there, but you're like, nope, let's let everyone go.
Yeah.
And so what got you thinking about that? Because I mean, you're so technical. So what made you start thinking about that as a mindset? Because it's a totally different mindset than a lot of people.
Sure. I mean, I guess it's kind of easier. And I mean, my core is, we do this. I want to make money.
Yeah.
I do also want to help people.
Yeah.
So usually at that point, your customers are really they're at wit's end. And just because I'm a little bit more technical and we have a really broad scope of things that we can do, it just really, it allows me to, without the hindrance of, oh, well, this guy bid this and this guy says that. Now they understand, okay, I've got the expert here.
Yeah.
And he's going to give me the right solution for our situation.
Yeah. And I remember the first time you talked to me about it, you said, listen, you go, if I come in number 5, like, there is no price negotiation. It's like, you're like, these people are in a desperate situation. And at this point, they've seen it all, done it all. And then you're able to get your price is really what it comes down to.
Exactly.
Which ultimately is the most important, right?
Sure. My price, and I'd say also the full cooperation of the customer. They're going to do whatever we ask them to do at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing because that's something that I think we always struggle in our industry is like, we go out to educate these customers and then we're like, education, but then the customer actually doesn't do shit to help us out, right?
Right.
And that's like a big problem for us because if you think about the feedback loop from a customer service standpoint or reviews or whatever, is like, we could tell them to do 1,000 things and they don't do it, but then whose fault is it? It gets put on us as a company or as operators,
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember a story you told me. I don't know if you remember this because I know you guys do so much work, but I remember the story you told me. You're waiting to hear it. This one's going to be right.
I'm nervous. Go ahead.
All right. So I remember it was probably like the first couple months we worked together. So it's been a while ago. And I remember you saying this. You're like, Seth, let me tell you about this German roach clean out. And I go, and you told me the value of the job. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like $8,000 or something. It was something, I don't remember the exact number. It might've been $5,000. Okay. But I remember going, holy shit, dude. I go, what did you guys do? And you're like, dude, this place was so infested that we had to pull the dishwasher out. We had to cut the drywall out. And you're walking me through it. And you may not even remember the job, but I remember listening to this and I was like, holy cow, like this place. And I think there was a bunch of other issues going on with the house too, but I remember you telling me and I was like, this is super unique. And I'm like, why does that make any sense? And then you started describing this methodology of being the last guy out. Mm-hmm. And I think there was some other issues at the house again, but I think you guys did some construction work there too. But I mean, do you see a lot of that kind of stuff still?
Yeah, there are few and far in between.
Yeah.
And we do have, we're not all super hard, difficult jobs. Some are kind of more like routine jobs. But when those come, I mean, it really challenges your methods and practices you put in place to make sure that you're, up to date with the latest technology or latest methods to really like get it under control.
So if you had to, if you think about this, and you guys are obviously growing like crazy, you guys are doing some neat stuff, and I won't put your business out there in the world, but
Sure.
But you guys are doing a lot of cool stuff. And so, I mean, if you were like, someone's going to listen to this and they're going to go, wow, these jobs are really big dollars. Mm-hmm. And it's probably someone who's, a solo operator And like, is this the kind of work a solo operator could really try to do, or is this something that you really have to be at scale, like you guys are getting to?
Yeah, I'd say definitely not. It's definitely something that requires like my team
Yeah,
to help with all the nuances, the trips. There's a lot of things that my guys can do that I suck at, to be quite honest.
yeah.
So I think, yeah, definitely don't try, stay with the simple until you get to that point. Or buddies or contractors or partner companies that you can work with. That's really what will help you tackle such large scale jobs if you are one of the small ones.
Yeah, because I think you've taken it really to the extreme, right? To where you're a GC, right? You're a GC, and you've got probably a bunch of other certifications I don't even know about, but you've really put the time in to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people that, especially in the wildlife world, they'll jump in and they'll try to do these really complex jobs, and you'll see it posted in the group. They're like, "How do you do this?" And you're looking at the job, and you're like, "Dude, you're a one-man operator, and you're trying to do a job that would probably take like 8 guys, right?" Yep. And but I see a lot of people chasing these jobs, and just because they chase that big number. But so you think it's better for these guys to chase the stuff that's quick turn, make quick cash, build their businesses up before they ever attempt this kind of stuff?
For sure, because even at our size, I mean, there's still jobs we won't take on. There's jobs we refer out, to other wildlife companies, just because we seem big, but some of them it's just way out of our wheelhouse. We just don't have the resources to do it and also to turn a profitable dollar at the same time.
Which I think is critical. I mean, I know a lot of other wildlife companies hire you guys too, which I always like. I find that really great about the wildlife industry as a whole. Because in the pest industry, well, you're in the pest industry too, but you never call your buddy in the pest control business and you're like, "Hey man, go do this job for me." You never do that, right?
Sure.
In the wildlife space, it seems like you guys generate a lot of referrals from other wildlife companies too.
Yeah, I mean, we've really branched out lately. Actually, it was your recommendation.
Yeah.
But we've gone to other trades outside of our industry and built a really solid relationship with the outside trades, and that's very quickly reciprocating.
Yeah, has it been working pretty good for you? I know we haven't talked about it a lot, so.
No, it's fantastic. I love it. It's a great idea.
Yeah, so for those of you guys who are listening, what Eric's referring to is one of the methodologies, and this isn't something we invented, but it's a methodology that we actually train a lot of the wildlife operators to go out and develop really deep referral sources. It can be really impactful. So other tradespeople who are going into houses, it really matters. But one of the biggest nuances is that we formalize the process versus just a handshake. And so by formalizing it, it actually builds a relationship that's pseudo legally binding, to where whether there's revenue share or whatever, or if it's just leads based, but it's a very, very formal process. And I think you guys are executing that really well right now. And a lot of companies execute it really well.
Yep.
So that's cool. So Eric, what's in the future for you guys? What do you want to share with everybody?
We're just trying to keep, scale like some of the larger companies, but also keep a good, comfortable workplace, a good balanced work-family life for our employees as well. So just kind of trying to stay the track of doing good service, helping our community, and keeping everybody.
You guys are doing it.
Well. Yeah.
How does it feel to be doing it, man?
It's good. It's good.
Is it humbling?
It is humbling.
Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking, and just at your session, just one of the most powerful things that I heard was just to relinquish that control. And me being technical means I'm also a control freak. So just setting back and letting our people do what we hired them to do, it's like, feels good, but it's nerve-wracking at the same time.
It's funny. Like, I mean, I guess, I don't know how long have we worked together for? A couple of years now?
A couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, and like, it's funny because I've seen the progression, right? Like I saw the progression of like, of Eric having to like look at every job and be on every job, to like Eric now actually gets to think, and it's like, it's pretty cool, man.
That is, it's powerful.
And a lot of your peer group is the same place, right?
For sure.
And it's pretty neat because like I sit there and think about some of the technical development stuff that you guys are working on. Like you never would have been able to do that a couple of years back,
Not at all. Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, man. Well, what questions do you have for me? Because you can ask me whatever the heck you want right now. Got anything for me or no?
I want to know how we get a badass recording guy like Kelly.
How do we get a guy like? How do we get a Kelly?
Yeah.
Kelly's been working with us since basically day one of Pest Daily. Now we have Pest Productions. He heads it all up, and he oversees like all of it. I think the biggest thing that people, and this is a good question, I think the biggest thing people have to remember about people in production is that people in production tend to almost get taken advantage of in our world. And so what I mean by that is a lot of people working, like they service like real estate agents, things like that. And it's always like people look at him as more a commodity versus actually like a team part of the team.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the reasons why Kelly's been so successful with our company is that number one, he believes in what we do, which is really hard.
Sure.
But number two is that in production, if you can provide really good stability for somebody, that makes a big difference, just like anywhere else. And so if someone who's a creative by trade, they're probably not good at like sales or selling themselves, and so they have to wait for business. And so if you can provide like an awesome future for somebody and put them on your staff, to where they don't have to worry, like that makes a huge difference for production people. Now, I don't know if everyone's gonna find someone like a Kelly, because Kelly's pretty fucking sick, honestly. And but there's probably Kellys out there.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. We were just talking. I was just telling a story off camera, ironically, that we were just talking about this. But we have one of our guys is a guy who did work for a news network, and they put him in an apartment. They paid him really low wages, and he said, I had to get out, and I was in a situation where I could not afford to quit this job because of the situation they set up in. So, or they put him in. So that makes perfect sense that there's probably a lot more of these guys out there that you can find. Yeah,
I mean, it's really like and I'll tell you where I learned it. So I learned about it. My brother is, you guys service my brother's house. Yeah. So my brother's obviously big time in TV, and my brother, like growing up, I would always watch him. They would contract a lot of people and different things, and I always go, what do these guys do? Like, there was no, and they're always contracting these guys, and the guys that are running the cameras aren't really making enough money, whatever. And then like he's like, you have to take care of your people in production. You have to take care of them. You got to take care of them. You got to take care of them. And then I realized is that as a business owner, and it's just like pest control, just like anything else, is like, it's okay to have an inefficient route once in a while, right? Like, and you're hearing that from me. It's okay if a guy goes out there and has a $600 day, right? Just like in production, if you have the best of the best, like it's okay if Kelly gets a day off. It's okay. Like, I don't need to worry about that immediate ROI on everything, And that's a hard mindset, man.
Yeah.
It's a hard mindset, So.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it comes way too often, especially as we are scaling, we are growing, and you get to those months where it's like, well, damn, we have 3 days at the end of the month. Where we don't have work. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, you give them a day off, or you find some training opportunities, or just your cleanup work. But yeah, you just have to make the best of it.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. So let me ask you this, Eric. So you're super into ongoing education, right?
Right.
Like, and you learn all kinds of stuff. So it's not just our industry, but you're doing all kinds of stuff. So how much of your success do you think is predicated on your like continual learning? Like, how much do you think that it really drives you, or do you think it gets you off course from learning too much?
Yeah, it's a balance of both. I do think it's a huge part of my success.
For sure.
You should always be looking to grow and learn and just really perfect your craft. I think the fact that I know, like that, the whole jack of all trades things, I know a lot about a lot of different subjects, but I'm not really like a specific like expert at any particular thing. But everything, when you talk about like pest control and wildlife and customers' homes and environmental conditions, all these things really, as you learn them, you put the pieces together and you realize they really work hand in hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, the more you want to learn, the more you want to take on, the more things make sense.
Yeah, so if you had to think about, so obviously we're here at NWCOA right now. So I mean, NWCOA is world-class for training, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Like world-class for training. I mean, what other things are out there that you think would be really cool for people,
I think just once again, just getting in touch with the trades. Like, I think people can agree that in wildlife and pest control, a lot of the conducive conditions are really the cause of the problem as well. One thing I've gotten into lately, outside of the technical, is really one thing's that kind of one of my epiphanies is that I realized, all right, so you're dealing with a pest or an animal, where I thought those were the variable at one point, but honestly, that's the constant in the situation. And I really learned that the customer is the variable.
Wow, what an interesting perspective.
Yeah, so I think that learning, I guess, the psychology of customers, the decision making, how they think, and then really seeking to understand that customer.
Yeah.
Because I can talk to them all day, but if they're not receiving the information, I really have to understand what makes them tick, so that I can get them to understand, hey, look, I'm on your side. I'm trying to create a solution for you. If I can't get that barrier down or get over that obstacle, they're never going to hire me. Or if they do hire me, it's going to be like pulling teeth trying to get them to do it.
Which creates inefficiency.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a super, super important point. And I think that we don't focus on that enough in our industry.
For sure.
I mean, obviously we have to focus on that in our world, but I think when you're when you're out there with the customer, I think that we don't talk about that enough,
Absolutely.
So I'll give you one or two funny questions and then we'll wrap this thing up, okay?
All right, let's do it.
All right, so question number 1.
Here we go.
All right, guys. So just so you guys know, Eric has a hilarious habit of ordering the fruitiest drinks ever every time you see him. So Eric, if you had to pick one fruity drink that you get to order one time, but it's the last fruity drink of your entire life, what drink is it?
Oh, dude, it's going to be a cotton candy milkshake.
A cotton candy milkshake of all things? Are you serious?
That's the best. It's the best.
All street cred just went out the door for Eric Littlejohn.
Sorry. No, hold the whipped cream though. That's what makes it legit.
For the record, guys, NWCOA 2 years ago in Orlando is that I actually saw Eric get this like pineapple weird drink thing with an umbrella, and he actually had like extra whipped cream on top of it, and he was like having like a nervous breakdown around it, just so you guys know. But don't get me wrong, David, his partner, you guys will notice him. He's a guy on social media with like the hater blockers on. So David is even worse than Eric. And so, I actually might have seen David put whipped cream on a Dos Equis. I'm just saying. So, all right, man, one last question.
You got it.
Okay, one last question. Are you ready? All right, so when you go home and you go see Sierra, what present are you gonna buy Sierra for letting you come down and hang out with us here in Houston?
I think just time away from the kids.
just get her out of there.
They've been driving her crazy the entire time.
Dude, those kids are awesome.
Yeah, let her go out, freshen up, get some peace, some fresh air. That's the best present she can take right now.
Sierra, I got a commitment. You're getting to get out of the house. Eric's gonna watch all the kids. So we'll cool, man. Well, I appreciate you hanging with me for a little bit today, man. So congrats on all your success, man.
Yep.
Super cool.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You guys all have a great one. We'll talk to y'all soon.